Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and in this episode I have a beautiful new Suzuki GSX-8R in the shop with me. In this video we'll be discussing TST Industries LED front signals that fit with this bike. As you can see, I have a whole mess of equipment in front of me. Some of these parts are just the signal lamps, and then we also have separate systems that go with the lamps, and I will tell you all about how these things couple up together so that you are empowered to make the right choices when you're shopping for the correct parts for your taste. All right, let's get started. The OEM Suzuki signal looks like this. It is slightly long for most people's tastes, but in today's world, this is a pretty nice looking design compared to some other OEM equipment that we've seen. So pretty nice, kudos to Suzuki, but you know, for the customizers out there, we always offer some nice additions to the bike. You may want to change it, you may want to customize it, go with a sequential pattern of signaling, whatever it is, we got your back. Now, we have many different types of signals from mild to wild. We also have flush mount signals. We do offer these signals, they do appear in Suzuki categories. However, the bodywork here presents a recessed area for mounting, so I do not recommend using these. We do have them, but I will not go over the installation of these if you choose to do so. They're pretty simple, but you're on your own there. We have our Echo signals. These are constructed of CNC machined aluminum. They do feature very nice black anodized body with a color accent ring. Should you choose to further customize this package, it is available with several different colors of anodized ring. You could change the ring, make it match the color of your bike. The red here looks pretty nice. And we also have inscribed these signals with really nice iconography, laser etched onto the body here. They're pretty small form factor, but they do feature a very high power LED that fires through a sophisticated lens that blows out the single LED light source into a broad cone of light, giving you a very nice signaling light appearance. Next, we have the BL6 signal. This signal is a very slim form of a signal. It's slightly longer than, say, this one. It features 6 LEDs on board. It is available in a standard signaling version where signals fire on and off, or we also have the sequential pattern signaling version that starts inboard and scans outboard. With each signal pulse, it'll look like a scan outboard. That's a very nice touch. We like it here. Choice is yours, but the external view will basically look like this. Now, these are single circuit signals. That means you only have signaling within them. We do offer running light version of signals like this Quadrix here, and also our Mech Evo. These, however, require wiring in an additional circuit via our running light connection kit. We also have a separate video covering the installation of that component on this bike. All the steps are broken down for you and enable you to get your installation done with ease. These guys here connect plug and play via our harness converters, terminate in bullet connectors on one end, and same OEM style connector as the OEM equipment on the other end, plug and play, good to go. Now, when you move away from using the OEM signals on a bike and replace them with aftermarket LED signals, especially when you go for different signals in the front and rear, you will be drawing much less current than the OEM system does, and your OEM flasher relay may get tripped up. I know for a fact on the S version of this bike and this bike, the R version, when you change the front and rear, you get one blink and then it doesn't blink anymore. So to restore the 85 cycle per minute rate, we do offer an LED flasher relay. This is our Gen 2 model. We also have a separate video covering the installation of that component on this bike. All the steps are broken down for you and enable you to get your installation done with ease. Now, we've talked about electrical assembly. We've talked about what happens with signaling rate. One thing I have to cover is how to mount these things before we actually get on the bike. So, for all the simple standard signals like you see here and any other form of stock or pod signal, we do offer a pod signal mounting kit. that comes with 2 plates and 2 washers. I will demonstrate how to use that in conjunction with these components on the bike. We actually do have front signal bundles that are created for each specific bike. On this bike in our product page, you will notice that we do have a front signal bundle that includes connectors, mounting, and then the lamp of your choice. This will simplify your shopping experience and get you the parts that you need in one simple step. Now, I'm really chomping at the bit to show you guys how to install these things. It's very simple. This bike makes it very, very simple. It's the simplest bike I've ever worked on, I think. We do not need to take any panels off. But before I do that, I just want to introduce one kit that we will be launching soon. It's our Pod Signal base kit. We will not be showing how to install that here, but I do want to introduce it to pique your interest. These are just bases that fit on the pod stocks of our signals or any 8mm stock signal out there. So if you want to buy a different company's, say Rizoma's equipment, and you put these on, they are a very nice accent, and we will have them available in several different colors. So check out tstindustries.com. That's where you'll find this product. In this video, we'll be focusing on installing just the simple single circuit components on this bike, and we'll have a subsequent video that shows you how to install these parts here. In the first step, we will be removing the OEM signals off the bike. We actually do not need to remove any of the fairings for that removal. We just took the opposite side than we're presenting on. We took that off because we wanted to show you guys what's happening on the inside and also have a view into the inside of the bike so we could document to you exactly what it's going to look like when you reach your hands in there. Now again, I'm going to reiterate that fairing removal is not necessary. You have access by hand to the connector area, which is right there. I just touched it. And then you have access to this 10mm nut, which you will be loosening and then taking off by hand. And this is all made very simple by Suzuki. So thanks, Suzuki. So we have the focal point of the camera here centered on the actual connector within its routing clip in the fairing. We're going to put our finger underneath the connector and pry it up. That just pops it out. There's another routing clip here. Now the wiring is free. This is a JST mini connector. It does have a little tab here. You press that in and that unlocks the connection. Just comes apart like that. Then we need to find this 10mm nut here. And I'm going to loosen that nut. Once the nut is loose, you can just use your hand to spin it off. And then you just need to grab the signal from the outside so it doesn't just drop off, and also make sure to remove that shoulder washer. And then we have our whole assembly coming off the bike, no sweat. So we have the left signal already removed. We also took out the shoulder washer and also the nut that holds this assembly on. That part's complete. The right side of the bike now needs to be removed, and then we'll get into the installation of the TST Industries parts. For this presentation, we chose the BL6 sequential signal, but this method will be valid for any of our stud mounted signals. So let's grab our converter kit. The plate can be mounted either hole forward or hole to the rear. That will be entirely up to you. I do kind of like it in this orientation, so that's how I will mount it. The ovalized one goes on the outside, the washer goes on the inside. We'll grab the nut and washer off of the signal. Those do need to be taken out one bullet connector at a time. All right. So this does have a slightly unfinished, flatter surface with text on it that will interface the bike. So we got the smooth surface towards the outside, towards the signal. Feed the wires through. Again, I chose the rear one. You could choose the other way around. the wiring through, you'll need to get the large washer that came with the plate kit onto the wire pair first, then the metal washer that came off the signal, and subsequently the nut goes on, one bullet connector at a time. And we get that forwarded up the line to the threaded portion there. And I will do this blind. Now I do need to mention that these are side specific and some of our signals are. So if the TST Industries text is upside down, you've probably put it in upside down. The only consideration here is that it'll be visible that you goofed up. It doesn't really produce any different effects light-wise, but for completeness sake, I did want to mention that. I did choose the appropriate side signal for my left here. My text is upright, and I do have a little curved section on the top side of this signal. That is just a cosmetic feature that is meant to look nice. I was able to do this blind without looking at what I'm doing. I have a 13mm open-ended wrench here. I'm going to tighten it down. Now, this is a much more challenging thing to do blind, so I'm going to hop on the other side and do it while looking at it from the bottom. Now, this is easy for me because I've taken off the fairing, but it is still completely doable. Looking through the top, you could technically do this without taking any fairings off. Through the top, you can tighten it, but this bike is mounted high for me, so I can't really do that. As I was tightening it, I did dislodge it. Okay, I feel that's good. The key to tightening this properly is to preload the rubber mount with enough force so that it creates enough friction here and things don't move around and rotate. Do not over tighten it. If you do over tighten it, the rubber part starts bulging, and then ultimately if you keep tightening past that point, you'll rip out the overmolded stud from the rubber and damage these irreparably, and that voids your warranty. So please be careful with that. Now that we have these mounted in physically, we need to connect them. We will be making use of our harness converter. It is a color-coded wire pair, yellow to yellow, black to black, no sweat. These are bullet connectors, and they do have insulator caps on them. However, the insulator caps do like to slide around a little bit. So in all my installations, I get these insulator caps over our conductors, and then I use some harness tape or electrical tape to lock those insulators down. If you forgo this step, there's a good chance that these insulators will come off with riding vibration, and then you may cause a short circuit, blow a fuse, and then not have signaling function for the duration of that ride. So let's prevent that. Nice little tightly wound package. And now I'm going to connect it and give it a test. Again, I can do this still without getting inside the bike because everything's accessible to me. Before I go into cable management, I'm going to power up this bike and check our signaling. Now the signaling works, no big deal. This particular motorcycle is equipped with our LED flasher relay, the Gen 2 flasher relay that we sell. It's a plug-and-play component for fixing fast flash rate. This bike is particularly sensitive to the changes from OEM signals to aftermarket LED signals. If you do not already have some means of controlling the flash rate, once you change your signals, you'll go into hyper flash where it'll flash very, very fast, and these being sequential, they won't complete the sequence. So please consider checking out the TST Industries LED flasher relay. We do also have a separate video showing you how to install that component. Let's get on over to the other side. Let's get our camera back to the inside so that I can show you exactly how to route this wire, and then we'll jump to the other side and perform this installation on the right side of the bike. So with our TST Industries signals set and harness converter, we have introduced a slightly longer wire bulk here. The actual connector can still be snapped into its routing features here, and upstream cable guard can be snapped into this clip here. So that's all good, but we do end up with slightly more here. You can technically shove it down there without anything else and it'll go pretty deep in there and probably be secure, but I do feel a little bit better about bunching this up and getting a wire tie around it. I recommend grabbing some wire ties and bulking it up. That way you do have centralized bulk of wire together, and it'll be more likely that it stays put. We have these nice TST Industries reusable ones if you guys want to pick them up. Otherwise, any old standard wire tie will do. All right, that's good. Routed, nothing will be coming out and getting caught into the suspension. So we're good to go here. We're good to proceed with the right side of the bike.
And just like that, this installation is now complete. As you can see, we were able to clean up the front end on this GSX-8R, streamline the look a little bit, get rid of those OEM signals with something a little bit more modern, and they have a little bit of flex in them. We want to give a special thank you to Bart for taking time out of his day and design work to guide you through this installation process. If you did find this video helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Check in down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to check these signals out or any other product we have for the Suzuki GSX-8R or any other bike that may be sitting in your garage, be sure to stop by our website, tstindustries.com. The link to this exact kit can be found in the description below. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with all the new and exciting videos we've got going on. And lastly, but definitely not least, be sure to stop by our social media pages and give us a follow. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark and Bart in the TST Garage, and we'll catch you guys next time.